And good afternoon, everybody. Oh, I haven't switched my lights on. Good afternoon. Did you enjoy that? This is proper retro. Proper retro. Well, you got to get part. This is. I hope you enjoyed the loading screens. I was really enjoying the nostalgic comments in the chat about loading levels and volumes and R-tape loading errors and everything else. I thought we did generate the entire experience, so those of you who missed the beginning can watch the stream from the start, right? And experience the whole thing over again. It was about it felt longer back in the old days, right? It was it's only about 4.5 minutes to load a 48K game on the Spectrum, but it felt like hours, right? Because of course at any stage it could crash and stop working. Right, so just a few. Anyway, lovely to see so many of you on the chat. First of all, a few faces I do know, a few new folks as well. Lovely to see you all. So thank you for popping along. And this is all part of virtual elite community meet, right? So the guys who we're all supposed to be in Cambridge today, and unfortunately because of the coronavirus we can't be. But we thought we'd all pile in online and do it. Okay, so this is something I was going to do at that community meet, is demonstrate the original Spectrum, right, version of Elite, because that's the one I grew up in. I couldn't afford the BBC Micro, so I had to wait a year before the ZX Spectrum version of Elite came out, and this is the version I remember as a kid, right? So this is absolutely hallowed ground as far as I'm concerned. Now, for those of you wanting a few little bits on the technicalities, I have tried to get my Spectrum to be able to be filmed properly. Had a whole bunch of technical problems, but for authenticity, just so you know, what I was intending to do here is I do have, there we go, put it in front of the camera, I do have my original Spectrum, okay, and it does work. It does work. As you can see, it's a little bit tired. it's been well used, but this is my original machine, right? That is, those are my credentials. It does work. The TV that I've currently got that allows me to actually use it. I tried filming it with my webcam, and it was 50 hertz, 60 hertz stutter. It was unwatchable, I'm afraid. So I am running a Spectrum emulator, but I'm running it in kind of full normal speed mode, which is why we had to experience that dreadful loading, right? Now, some of the eagle-eyed of you will notice already. Hang on a minute. What's this mess on the screen? Well, this is lens lock. Okay, now I don't have a virtual lens lock emulator, but I do have. And I'll go back to the camera. Look, I do have, not that one, that one. I do have my, which unfortunately because of the green screen settings you can't see the. There you go, sort of correct. I do have my original box of Elite. Okay, and inside here is the Spaceflight Trader's Manual. Also has the original copy of the Dark Wheel. Also has a note from Firebird themselves telling you how to use the lens lock, which is our first challenge, right? I have a natty keyboard overlay for my Spectrum, which I can show you. It goes. There's the Spectrum. So this is how it was done in the old days. Okay, you put your keyboard overlay, tucked it into place, and your keyboard was transformed into a cockpit controller for your spaceship, right? So you can probably see there things like, oh, it's gone blurred. Come on, camera, come on. You can do it. It's over here. It's just typical, isn't it? Come on. Wakey. Where's the camera? Maybe it's gone in zoom. Anyway, you can see how that works. Oh, well, my camera's gone. There we go. It's back. There we go. Right, so you can see things like fire laser and intergalactic hyperspace jump and so on and so forth. So that worked for the original Spectrum. The version I've got does also have the Spectrum Plus version, which of course had a real keyboard, so you had an alternative one, the Spectrum Plus control guide. Inside the box, see, there's loads of stuff in the box, right? Loads of stuff in the box. A ship identification chart. So how exciting is that, right? Look, so these are all the spaceships that you will encounter on your voyage, right? Hopefully. Maybe we'll encounter some of those today, right? So we'll see how it goes. But also, obviously, the original cassette, which I can show you in the box there. There's the original cassette of Elite, which we've just loaded. And this thing, okay? This, my friends, for those of you who don't know what it is a lens lock. It is a really early form of DLP, basically. Sorry, not DLP. Digital rights man, DRM, that's what I mean. DRM, right? Okay, so this is an early form of DRM. Now what you had to do is you had to fold this like that, right? Put it on your TV, look through it, and this mess here that's on the screen will magically transform into something that you can read through this. So what I'm going to have to do in order to get through is that I can't really show you this. So what I'm going to have to do is squint at it on the screen right now, right? So I'm going to decrease the size of this to its minimum. And I may have to do it even a little bit. I may have to shrink the screen a little bit temporarily. Okay, so apologies for this because it's too big for the lens lock as it stands. And that is, let me see, this is a beautiful thing you can do with Windows now. I can just adjust the window absolutely perfect. Now that should work. So I'm just, apologies for this. I can just about see okay in there, right? So those of you who know how this works will know I've got to see the letters OK, and then press enter when ready, right? Which for some reason isn't responding. Come on, don't tell me it's crashed already. let me restart it. So the fun of that's right. Okay, I'm trying to do this authentically, right? And it's already given up on me. So I'm going to do a fast load off the disk, if I can find it. Here we go, fast loading. Right. Okay, let me just get that back because I think it's seized up. There we go. Right. So let's try that again. I can sort of see OK. Why is my keyboard not responding? Which is a bit worrying. It should be okay. Right, hang on, let's just, yeah, that's working. So let's just try that again. If I can't get this to work, what I'll do is cheat and bypass the lens lock. I just dropped a whole bunch of stuff on the floor now. So come on, we can do this. I want to get past the lens lock. It's kind of like the authentic. Why is the keyboard not responding now? That's really weird. Like it's seizing up. Doesn't want to give me the. Come on. Right, okay. Enter code. Let's try that. Now I think that says. Oh. Try that again. Now I can see okay. That's all right. Doesn't seem to like it. Tell you what I'm going to do. It's a horrible system, right? And it's winding me up even now, 30 years later. I'm going to go straight into the game. I'm going to cheat. Get the right file, because I've got a hacked version, right? There we go. Enough of that. I can't be bothered to faff around with it anymore. So let's just make this a bit bigger so we can see a bit more of the game. There we go. Right. So this is the Spectrum version, right? So this is, and that frame rate, that's about 1 frame per second, right? Is that's what you got, right? The ZX Spectrum had a Z80A CPU running at 3.5 megahertz, and that was how it worked. And interesting enough, it seems to be seizing up. This is not good. Come on, why is it seizing up on me? Shouldn't be doing that. Wrong file, Drew. Come on, no lens lock. Right, so press space commander. Right, so we're good. Okay, I don't think it likes the context switching, so I may need to be careful of this. So anyway, there we go. So this is where we are. We are in the lathe system now. I can't remember the keys. Let me get my handy guide out. That may help a little bit. All right, so we've got a galactic chart here which tells us where we are. So that's the lathe system, right? And we are there. There's the local map, and we can find out a little bit about Lathe by clicking P, and it tells us that Lathe is most famous for its vast rainforest and the Lavian tree warthog, apparently. Now, in some versions of the game, it was a Lavian tree grub, but it depends, right? Which version you're in. Now, the equipment list is prices and status. There we go. So this is our status screen, right? This is all we get. And hello to everybody in the chat. Well, thank you very much. I'm struggling to get past the lens lock. We have 7 light years of fuel. We have 100 credits. We are clean. We are harmless. And all we have on our Cobra Mark III is a front pulse laser, which isn't very much, right? We can call up a commodity list. Now, the way to play the original game here, really, basically, tech level determines, as you can see on this screen, tech level determines how sophisticated the equipment is you can buy, right? The economy tells you the sort of stuff that is likely to be cheap and or sold, okay, at a reasonable price. So a rich agricultural system is likely to have an excess of food, okay, so that's what you can get. It's human colonials. Now, so what we need to, so the idea here is that probably food and stuff like that is cheap here, right? So we can make a profit. That's basically what we've got to do. Now we've got to go somewhere and sell that. So what we can do here is use the keys to go down to listy. Now we can't get prices from the system until we go there. And that's one of the things that still happens in the Elite Dangerous, right? But we can look up the planet. Okay, so data on Leasty tells us it's a rich industrial with a tech level of 11, so it's much more sophisticated than Lave in terms of technology. But it's industrial, right? So food there is at a premium, okay? There we go. And Leasty, as you can see, the planet Leasty is reasonably favourable for zero-G cricket, Hitchhiker's reference, and Leastian evil juice. Now, Leastian evil juice is Elite Dangerous as a rare good, so you know there's a little bit of commonality here. Usanara, yeah. Right. So what we're going to do, and I can equip my ship, right? So here's things I can buy. I can buy. Oh, that's working. Seems to be putting some odd characters in. Why is it typing 7? Don't know why it's doing that. So I can buy. I don't want. Why is it? Something slightly odd with the emulator here. It seems to be pressing the 7 button all the time, which is a little bit odd. Which might explain why the lens lock screen wasn't working. Let me see if I can shut the emulator down and restart it. I think that might be why something's going a little bit screwy. That's a bit weird. So this is the problem with running all this old school tech, right? Now I've got to find where I installed the program. Where did I find it? Spectacular. There we go. Right, let's just try this again. It's dumping. It's not doing it there. So that's okay. So it's all right there. So right, let's go back and do this again. Hopefully this isn't gonna. Oh no! I'll do lens lock again. No, I don't want lens lock. Go away, lens lock. Right, there we go. Right, yes. No, I don't want to load a commander. Press space command. Right, so I should be able to show you that screen without the 7 appearing. That's good. Right, okay, so these are the things that I can buy, right? We could buy some beam lasers, but we haven't got enough cash. We could buy an extra pulse laser, but we haven't got enough cash. We could buy a fuel scoop, but we haven't got enough cash. You get the drift, right? Okay, so in order to upgrade my ship, I need some money. I could buy an extra missile, but at this point it's a bit pointless. For some strange reason, the ship comes with 3 missiles out of a possible 4. So basically what I've got to do, I don't want to buy things. Let's go back there. I want to buy some food. This is the one thing I can buy. So I'm going to buy 17 tons worth of food and 3 tons of textiles, right? That leaves me with 28 credits left in the entire universe, right? There's my inventory. Okay. I've got some cargo on board. And I've got to decide where to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play it safe. Not surprisingly, right? To start with. We're going to go to Leasty, which is a relatively safe planet, 3.6 light years away. Okay, and we are going to fly out. Listen to those sound effects. Okay, off we go. Right, let me just get the mouse out of there. Right, right. So we are in system space. I'm going to slow us down. That's that key. And just to give you a little tour. So basically, the controls are I can go up and down, pitch, and I have roll. Okay. And that's it. There's no yaw control in this version of Elite. Okay, so docking is amusing. Just to show you all what the screen means. Obviously, front view is the front view, right? Very straightforward. FS here on the left-hand side of the console, which you can't see me pointing, but it's this left, right? FS is front shield. AS is aft shield. So you've got 2 shields on the ship. One that protects the forward part of the ship. One that protects the back. FU is fuel. Doesn't stand for anything else. CT is cabin temperature, LT is laser temperature, AL is altitude. Then there's a missile icon which says we've got 3 missiles which we can arm and target and unarm. SP is speed, RL is roll left and roll right, DC is dive and climb. And 1, 2, 3, 4 on the right there are our energy banks. That's the total amount of energy that the ship has. Okay, so as I fire the laser, look at those special effects, you'll notice that I'm draining my energy banks and increasing my laser temperature, right? When my laser temperature overheats, it cuts out. Okay, I can't fire anymore, and it's used up a certain amount of my energy. Now, my energy does recharge, but it doesn't recharge particularly quick. And my front shields and aft shields will drain those energy banks, okay, once they collapse. So once the shield value is 0, they start directly draining the energy banks, and that becomes a problem. Okay, but we'll do that. I've still got the compass, like Elite Dangerous. So the compass on the right there, above the big S, automatically always locks onto the space station, okay? And it works in the same way as the one in Elite Dangerous, right? So there's the space station. Obviously a Coriolis space station, gamely rotating around. You can see on my scanner there's some other ships about. So if I just bring them into view, you'll notice there's a ship there. I can tell you that's a Python. You may not recognise that as a Python, but it is a Python. And there's another one there, right on the edge of scanner. It's just a dot. It's so far away, okay? So I don't know what that is, but we could potentially go and find it. That's the UI, okay? That's the UI of the ZX Spectrum Elite. So that's good fun. Right, so we need to hyperspace, right? So we need to set our coordinates to Leasty. There we go. Go back to there and press hyperspace. And off we go. We're going to Leasty, right? So through the hyperspace tunnel we go. And we're in the Leastyian star system. Okay, so just a note on this. I'm not using any cheats. I'm not tweaked the emulation speed of the computer. This is pretty authentic for how it would be on an actual Spectrum. It's not perfect, but it is pretty close. You'll notice it will slow down when there are ships on the screen, right? The frame rate will drop. The frame rate under normal conditions is about 4 to 5 frames per second. It drops to 1 frame per second when stuff's happening, right? So yeah, I do mean you're quite right, Real Paul. I mean, the one Elite Dangerous works the same way as the one Elite. So you'll notice here that the compass is now telling it locks onto the planet when there's nothing else to lock onto. Okay, so I'm just going to slow the ship down. A few other things on the UI, right? The green circle is my alert indicator. Green means there's no other ships around. Yellow means there are other ships around, but they're not attacking me at the moment. And a red one means you're either under attack or there's really something wrong with your ship. Okay, so those are all the things that you need. A flashing red is you're seriously in trouble. Okay, and you need to do something quickly, otherwise you're going to die. Okay, now some things on the original Elite that you don't have on Elite Dangerous, which I always think quite amusing, is I've got a rear view camera. How cool is that? I can look backwards in this Cobra Mark III. So there's the sun, okay? Now you can tell the difference between the sun and the planet because the sun is filled in and the planet isn't. But it authentically works, right? So, you know, I'm rolling there, but if I roll, you know, it rolls in the opposite direction on the rear view, which is right. Yeah, okay, so there we go. I can also look left and look right. So who needs VR, right? I can look all the way around my ship, and if I bank there, you can see that the space dust moves appropriately in the view. Okay. Now a lot of people used to say, why can you see the stars through the planet? There aren't actually any stars in the background here. This is all space dust, just to give you some movement, right? So there are no stars in the background. So the things moving towards us aren't stars. They are space dandruff or space fluff or whatever you want to call it, right? Just to give you a sense of movement. So I've got control over my ship. There's no Newtonian physics here. It's all airplanes in space, right? So I've got a speed control which takes me up to maximum velocity, but I do have a sort of frame shift drive. Okay, it's not called the frame shift drive in this version of Elite. It's called either the space skip drive, which I hate. I don't like that. Or because this version of Elite was made by a company called Taurus, they called it the Taurus Drive, which sounds cool. Taurus Drive. It sounds like a fusion reactor or something. So there we go. Right, so I'm going to press J, and this will jump us towards the planet. Okay. So in Elite, you come out of hyperspace, not near the star, like in Elite Dangerous. You come out halfway between the planet and the star, and you can go in either direction. Okay. So here we go, Taurus driving towards the planet, and at some point, I get mass locked. Okay, it doesn't tell me I've been mass locked, but I've been mass locked. I can't jump towards the planet any further. Okay, so everything is green. I have to just keep flying towards the planet for a little while. So just sit back and twiddle your fingers here for a moment. And there's quite a lot of rather like in Elite Dangerous. Okay, so Elite Dangerous is quite authentic experience here. There's quite a lot of just hanging around in the original Elite, waiting for stuff. So I'm full throttle at this moment towards the planet. Okay, and there's nothing to do. I just have to wait until I get in range of the space station. There you go. My sensor, the big S that comes in the bottom right of the screen there, that tells me I'm in system space. I.e., I've got a fix on the space station. Then I can reorientate my ship towards the compass, and there is the space station in a high orbit around the planet. So now I just need to wait. Now this bit of the game can be bypassed, right? This is the bit of the game that can be bypassed because if I can afford a docking computer, the moment I see that S in the bottom right, I can press the docking computer and I'll be instantly in the space station. Okay, so that is a massive time saver early on in the game. So that will be a priority, right? So we're now closing in on the space station. You can just about make it out there. And already the frame shift drive, already the frame rate is dropping, which is quite funny. Now I'm seeing some feedback on my speakers here. Are you hearing any unusual noises on the stream? Because I'm just wondering if I'm getting some hiss here or something. Let me know in the chat, because I don't normally see anything on that. It seems to be giving me some strange level controls there. So anyway, other than that, now the space station is coming into range. I can see it on the scanner. The scanner at the bottom of the screen here looks exactly like the Elite Dangerous one in that kind of way of working, right? So it's a 3D representation of that. And I need to orientate myself in order to dock, right? So what I need to do is angle away from the space station. The easiest way to do this, right? You can just hear birds. That's because I've got my windows. It's quite hot, right? So fly past the space station, fly towards the planet. This is the easy way to do it. I've had a few drop frames on the stream, so that might be what's causing that. Slow down. So apologies that. I reckon the internet's probably quite busy. Turn around and face the space station, right? And that gives me a rough lineup. Now, without your control, this is one of the hardest parts of the game, right? Docking with the space station. This is the tense part. This is really hard. Okay. So what you got to do is you got to line up. We've got no yaw. Okay, you got no yaw. So the way I always did it is get the space station slightly off center on the screen, and then angle towards it. Okay, at minimum thrust, so you know you're roughly lined up. And now you've got to get into that small gap. And this is the thing that a Spectrum version was really bad at, right? It would quite often, there's no traffic control. So ships will launch from the bay straight in front of you. There goes a Python, right? And but the AI is not too bad, given this is an 8-bit game. It will pull out of the way if it's got time to do so. But so you're always a bit concerned here, because it's quite possible for you to ram another ship because you don't know one's coming out. So I'm going to go in at a reasonable lick here to try and doesn't look so happy, does it? There we go. Let's hope we can line up. Yes. Right, we're at least here. We made it. Right, now I need to sell some stuff. So I'm going to sell 17 tons of food and 3 tons of textiles, right? And we've made 44 credits. You think grind in Elite Dangerous is hard, right? Yeah. you know nothing. You know nothing at all. Right, so let's have a look at what we can buy here, because this gives us access to everything, right? So we can buy missiles, cargo bays. So our cargo bay in this Cobra is 20 tons. That's all it can take, right? We can buy an ECM system, so that stops missiles being fired at us. Extra weapons, fuel scoops, escape pods, energy bombs. There's the docking computers. 1,500 credits, right? Expensive. Galactic hyperspace for 5,000 and a military laser for 6,000. Okay, that's the boss gun in Elite, right? The military laser. So beam lasers are pretty good, but military lasers are the thing that you want. So a galactic a docking computer is a long way down the list credit-wise, so we're going to have to work at it a bit hard. So I'm going to do some more stuff. Right, so we need to. Now here we are an industrial planet, right? So looking at the data chart, yeah, system data. It's a corporate state's rich industrial, so things like computers and tech are cheap here, right? So that's what we want to buy. So I'm going to go down here. The problem is I've only got 144 credits, right? So computers are 72 credits a ton. So I think I can buy 2. I can't even buy 2, right? I can buy one ton of computers and 1 ton of machinery, and that's it. That's my lot. That's all I've got, right? I can't buy anything else because so I've got 20 credits in all the world again. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 1 ton of computers and machinery, but we're not going to go back to Lave, right? We're not going to go back to Lave. The reason for that is this, right? Let me show you the map here. A, it's out of range, so I've got to buy some more fuel, but don't worry about that. The reason I don't want to go back to Lave is look at the government type. Okay, government type at Lave is a dictatorship. Now the danger of the system in Elite is basically the government, right? So anarchy is the worst, and I think corporate state is the safest. In a corporate state, you're not going to meet any pirates, okay? In a dictatorship, there's quite a high probability that you will meet some pirates, particularly if you're carrying some cargo, right? And they will try and kill you. Now, our ship with a single pulse laser has got no chance, right? So, even if I was the ultimate combat pilot, we can't survive. And if we went to somewhere like Ridquat, right? Ridquat is an anarchy system, right? And it's a rich agricultural, great place to sell my computers, but we would not survive the trip, right? It's impossible. So we can't do that. We can't go there. We've got to go somewhere safe to sell our stuff. The only place that we can actually go is Dezo. Really, it's a democracy, so it's pretty safe, mostly safe, and it's a rich agricultural system. There is demand for computers, so this is a nice early trading route. Dezo, Leasty, Dezo, Leasty, Dezo, Leasty, to build up some cash. So that's what I'm going to be doing, okay, along the way, in order to get some cash to upgrade the ship a little. Well, then we can be a bit more adventurous. So I'm going to go to Dezo. Now I can do this with the amount of fuel I have on the ship, as you can see. It's still in range, right? But if I get into trouble, hyperspace is a really handy way of getting out of trouble. Okay, so I'm going to refuel my ship, which leaves me with a mere 16 credits, and go with that. Now, in order just to preserve progress, just in case we have a crash of the emulator or we just, you know, bad things happen, I am going to save a snapshot. Okay, and do a quick save as. Okay. So that's just in case we have trouble, and I'm going to put it in there, and that means we can just jump back to this point should we have any trouble, right? I know that's cheating, but hey, there we go. Right, so let's launch again. Right, we've got to go back. Okay, so we launch from the space station, and we're going to go to Deso this time. Okay, so hyperspace is on Deso. Hyperspace ho, off we go. And I am going to save it each time I'm docked, right? Because, and to be honest, that's not quite breaking the rules, because you could do that on the Spectrum version. You could save your position to tape. It took about 5 minutes, but you could save your position to tape. Now, we've come out of hyperspace quite a long way away from the planet. Now, if we had a fuel scoop, we could refuel at the star, but we don't have a fuel scoop, right? So that's not an option. So we jump drive, and we've encountered an object. Okay, so we've got yellow alert. Now, I think this is an asteroid, so I'm just going to target a missile on it, and there we are, it's locked on target. Now the only problem with this is it may not be an asteroid. It could be a rock hermit, okay, and if I get that wrong, then the rock hermit will send out 2 ships to attack me. It is rotating, so I'm going to take a chance and blast it, and it was an asteroid. Awesome. Okay, so I got a measly half a credit for destroying that, but I've got a kill. Okay, I've got a kill, so I'm now on my way. There we go. And there is a ship at long range. Okay, now this isn't good. This could be a pirate. We will see. So I'm going to actually fly towards it and head it off, because I think this is a pirate. Yes, it is. It's attacking me. Okay, so first things first, get a missile lock just in case things go wrong. Right, now it's in visual range. I'm going to slow down. I don't know what ship that is. It looks like a... This isn't good news because this is an ASP, which is actually quite a tough ship at this point in the game. Oh, it rammed me. No, he didn't. He shot a missile at me at point blank range. Took out. Notice my front shields are dead already. Okay. So I've got to get this guy. Now he will launch a missile at me, of which at this point in the game there is nothing I can do but shoot the missile down. Skills. He's only got one missile on that ASP. That's his offensive over. Now I should be able to bring him down then if I can get him. Oh, this is where flying, because of course the Spectrum did have a joystick, but the game wasn't really set up for it. You notice I've now dropped to yellow alert rather than red because my shields are coming back up, which is good. Come on, right, you're going down, my friend. You take on Commander Drew Wagar. I've had hundreds of years flight time experience. I can't hit him. There's an escape pod. Did you see that drop off? Yes, he's gone. And that's actually going to be a nice little chunk of money for me, 20 credits. Now those panels there, I would be able to, if I had a fuel scoop, I'd be able to pick up. But I haven't, and I can't. I could also pick up that escape pod and sell him as a slave, right? But I haven't got a fuel scoop yet, so I can't do that. So onwards we go. And here's another asteroid, I hope. Let's blast that out of the way. Notice that my jump drive stops working. The torus drive stops working when I'm in the range of a ship. You got mass lock, okay? You got mass lock. So let's blast that asteroid out of the way. Those do count as kills. So I've now got 3 kills to my name, which is all right. Okay. Drew 1, Harry Potter 0. That is a Cobra Mark. No, that's a Python. Sorry, my mistake. So let's just fly alongside it. What you can do, what's quite nice here, is if I fly alongside it and put my left view on, we can see the ship go past. There it goes. Amazing frame rate, as you can see. Now I'm in range of the space station again. Should be able to see it shortly. And we're at full throttle. There it is. So we can now get into. So that was quite successful. Okay, right. So we killed 2 asteroids and an ASP. We are in range. Now again, having that docking computer would be good. Now, after a few trading runs like this, we'll have enough money to actually fill the hold up with computers, and then we start making some proper money, right? The first part of this game is concerned with just making enough money to fill your cargo hold with enough stuff that you can actually make the runs worthwhile. Right now I just do not have the cash, so that's the first thing to do. And obviously I have to wait because I don't have a docking computer, right? I can't get to the space station quickly, so I've got this kind of sit around now. But you know, after a space battle like that where we've taken on the ASP, you know, we're now the ASP in Elite. And if I just quickly switch to this while we're, let's be careful that we don't crash into the space station. Just switch back to here. Where is it? Full screen focus. No, camera focus. There we go. Where's the ASP? Oh, there we go. Well, there's the 2 things we've encountered. Okay, there's the asteroid, and there's the ASP. I know they all look pretty much the same, but you know, you do get used to distinguishing them fairly quickly. So we've encountered 2 ships, which is good, right? And back we go. So here's the space station. Okay, coming into range. Oh, hang on. Let's switch back. There we go. I've got to hit Elite in this stream. Well, we'll see if we can go on a bit of a rampage if we can get to a point, right? If we can get to a point where I can get a half decent ship. In order to go combating in this version of Elite, what you really need is at least beam lasers, and you also need the extra energy unit, which makes your energy units that you can see on the screen recharge. So banks 1, 2, 3, 4. If you put an extra energy unit on it, you don't get a 5th one. It basically makes the existing ones recharge faster, which is essential for combat. Okay, otherwise you just run out of energy. And there's a small bug in these games in the sense that if you run out of energy yourself, either by over enthusiastic use of the lasers or something else, then you also explode, right? So when energy bank 4 empties, that's effectively what kills you. So you have to bear that in mind, right? So we've flown past the station. There it is on the rear view, right? So slow down, turn around. There's the planet. Gasp! Oh, there's another Python. They're all over the place, Pythons. This is one thing that the Spectrum version actually did rather well, is it gave you, not very much, because there wasn't much memory, but it gave you the impression that you were flying around in the universe with other ships. On the original BBC, they didn't get that. Okay, you didn't get space traffic like you do in the Spectrum version. So I give the Spectrum version. It isn't as good. It isn't as visceral a game, right? But in some of the immersive aspects, and I'm trying to avoid the word immersion, right? Because I know some people hate it, but it does have some more immersive aspects than the BBC version. The idea that you're in a universe where something's going on, right? Let's. I'm just going to concentrate again. I prefer to do this quickly. I tend to. Yes, I'm a boss. My cursor. Sorry, let's get rid of the cursor. That's very distracting. Right, so we're back at Jameson. We're back in DSO. Right, so we sell. Right, we sell our 1 ton of computers and our 1 ton of machinery, and we've now got 100. We've almost doubled our money in 30 minutes of gameplay. Oh, the disc version did it? Okay, so maybe that's. I haven't seen that so much. But there were Pythons everywhere in the Spectrum version. They were launching from the space stations all the time. So guess what? Here we are in DSO. It is a democracy. We are going to fill up with fuel. We are going to fill up with. Oh, I bought a missile. I don't think I meant to do that. We're going to fill up with as much food as we can carry, and fill up the remaining space with textiles, and we're out of space. So there we go. We are fill up again. I'm just going to do a quick save while we're here. There we go, and onwards we go. Right, this is the game. And Psychico, hello, sir. Good to see you. We are in the midst of playing Elite. Thank you very much, Psychico, for popping in. Do appreciate that. That's really good. Right, so back to Leasty we go. Right, and we just got to grind for a bit, I'm afraid, my friends. See what happens. Right, so hyperspace, back we go. And I'm going to try and do this as fast as I can, but the game paces me, right? Tasks me, and I shall have it. So there we go. A totally uneventful voyage into the Leasty system, as expected. There's the space station already. Corporate states are safe places to be, right? There's the space station. So that's nice and easy. So there we go. And we've beaten an asp. Okay, so that was the excitement. Yeah, the Spectrum version, it was very enthusiastic about chucking ships out of the dock, wasn't it? I don't know why that was. It might have been a bug. So there we go. But never mind. I am seeing a few frame rate drops. That's not my PC. My PC is more than up to this. It's the internet here. I'm seeing a few glitches, right? But it is, yeah, and that's a good point, Kelvinator. It is worth saying that the Spectrum version of Elite was not written by David Braben and Ian Bell. It's not even a proper port because the Spectrum is based on the Z80A chip, the Zilog chip. And the BBC and the BBC was based on the 6502 processor, and the Commodore 64 was similar to the 6502, but I think it's called 6810 or something like that. Anyway, those two architectures were similar enough that David Braben and Ian Bell were able to code the Commodore 64 version of Elite. Now, I actually did manage to speak to David Braben once briefly about the ZX Spectrum version. He was very sniffy about it. He doesn't like the ZX Spectrum. Okay, it's cheap and tacky, I think is his view of it. He was he was an Acorn man through and through. So the BBC is hallowed ground as far as he's concerned, and the ZX Spectrum is a cheap piece of tat that Clive Sinclair invented. He doesn't have much time for it. So I think that was possibly the reason that they didn't get involved in the Spectrum version. So David Braben was not involved in this. It was written by another team of developers, and basically their brief was to make it as 6510. There we go. Are they the same? So what's the difference in why is there a difference? There's another Python coming up. It's Python Day today in Leasty. Yeah, so basically their brief was, here's the BBC version, make the Spectrum version play as much like that as you can, I think is basically what happened. And so they did their best, right? But the Spectrum doesn't have any sound hardware, and it doesn't have any native graphics. Basically, you can write to the screen on the Spectrum, and that's about it. It has one graphics mode. It doesn't have anything clever in it. It is a cheap computer, but one of the reasons why the gameplay on it is so dynamic in most of the other Spectrum games, actually, I've completely cocked that up, is for that reason. It was so limited as a games machine that the programmers had to be really ingenious in how to code for the Spectrum. The only thing the Spectrum had going for it is that the processor was running at a high rate. It was running at 3.5 megahertz compared to, I think, 2 for the BBC and perhaps even 1 megahertz for the Commodore 64. So although the pythons everywhere. I do remember this. You do have to be careful docking on the Spectrum version because of all the pythons. But at least something's going on, right? It makes you feel like there's something happening. But the frame rate here is authentic. Okay, this is what it was like to play on the PC. When there's stuff happening on the screen, the frame rate slows down. So the Spectrum did have a little bit of sort of raw horsepower going for it in terms of CPU ability, but you can't compare the megahertz numbers directly with each other. Because of the differences in computer architecture. So the Spectrum certainly wasn't 3.5 times as fast as the Commodore 64, even though that's what the megahertz would kind of imply. That what wasn't good. So the C64 had a sprite engine in the hardware. Spectrum didn't have anything like that. But for vector graphic games like this, that sort of hardware didn't actually make much difference. And the BBC, David Braben and Ian Bell played a very clever trick on the BBC to get the frame rate higher than what you're seeing on the Spectrum. And what they basically did is they only drew half of the screen at a time, half of the lines on the spaceship, and they used the fact that the CRT monitors of the day were so slow in the refresh that the last line they'd drawn hadn't disappeared before they redrew that line again. So you only had to draw half of the spaceship at a time because the lag on the CRT was enough that the previous line would still be there. So you could double the frame rate by only drawing half of the ships, which was very, very neat. But what happens now when you emulate it, because the emulators do it exactly as that, but the modern screen refresh is harder. The BBC version looks really, really flickery, whereas the Spectrum version looks solid because it drew everything. So there's lots of little weird things like that, okay, that are quite fun. Okay, so we've now got 223 credits. Okay, we're getting there, right? So let's load up again. Oh, I haven't sold. I thought I'd sold that. There we go. No, we haven't got 100. What's going on? That doesn't make sense. 163. Right, where am I? I'm getting confused where we are. We're at Dizo, right? So we should have sold, right? That's what we've done. Right, good. I want to. No, what I want to do here. What did I just do? I'm confused because I was talking. Yeah, okay, so we're at Dizo right now, yeah? I'll get here we want to buy food and stuff to take to, yeah, we do. Right, we want to buy food, and, well, actually, what have we got in the hole? I think I've just made a big mistake there. What have I got on ship? Where's my inventory screen? Inventory is enter. Right, I have nothing in the inventory. Right, so I'm going to buy lots of textiles, okay? Right, and we're going back to Leasty, aren't we? There we go. To sell those. Right, okay. Save that again. Quick save. No, not quick save as. Quick save. Right, off we go. So yeah, so lots of little tweaks like that, right? Okay, between all the early 8-bit versions. You'll notice the other thing here is that the docking bay always faces the planet. There's a reason for that. Is that basically so that you don't have to draw the docking bay and the planet at the same time. So that was another little performance saving thing that all the 8-bit versions had. There's lots of little tricks because these computers are so limited in the amount of processing power that they have, you needed these little tricks to make the games playable, right? So there we go. And if we are now in Leasty, there we go. Nothing going on here, and off we go. So. So Stephen Usher's coming in. So Stephen is a BBC man. So BBC was as fast as the Spectrum as the video and CPU interleaved memory access. However, the Spectrum Z80 spent a lot of the time waiting for the video. Yeah. So the there's lots of stuff about that. It's quite interesting, right? Now the other thing you'll notice on this Spectrum version is the circle here is very mathematically correct. It's as good a circle as you can draw on an 8-bit computer, right? Because of the resolution of the screen. If you look at this on the BBC, you'll notice that the planet is actually, I think it's 16 straight lines organised into a circle. So the Spectrum did have a few built-in routines for drawing circles, which is one thing it was good at. Okay, Spectrum is very good at drawing circles because it had a built-in routine for doing so. The BBC didn't have that, so the planets were that slightly rougher outline. If you play the BBC version, you'll notice that as well. Now, while we're on the way into the space station again. A little note on the galaxy map here. Okay, so these planets are procedurally generated from seed. Okay, so there are no real places. So the realism that you get out of later games isn't present yet. The capability of mapping part of the galaxy didn't exist. But these planets, Lave, Deso, Listi, and a few others from this galactic chart are still in Elite Dangerous today. Okay, they've been kind of put into place. But there is no Earth, there's no Achenar, there's none of that. The Empire, the Federation, all that sort of stuff doesn't exist yet in the Elite Dangerous lore. This is set in a time 3125 is about the date that the original Elite game takes place. And what that means is that we are in a political era called the Galactic Cooperative. Yes, you're quite right. The BBC version did animate the planet. You see all sorts of none of the other 8-bit versions did that. It looked a bit odd actually. I always thought, but yeah, it's quite clever. So we're in the year 3125. So this is 100. Is that right? 175? No. Yeah, 175 years before the Elite Dangerous time frame is when we're playing now. Okay, that's basically what's happening. Back then, ships are a bit more primitive. Okay, as you can see, technology-wise. There goes the space station. Probably about there. Flip over. And and we're in a political situation here, and it's definitely Python Day. Two of them look like they're doing things that they shouldn't be doing. I don't know if that's a bug. It must be. You shouldn't really be launching ships that close anyway, should you, right? So it is a bit dangerous sometimes docking here. Look at that frame rate. Oh. There we go. Let's line up in there. Okay, we're good. Right, let's just take it easy so we don't ram a Python head on. And into the fucking bay. Yes. Did the C-64 have the animated planets? They might well have done, since it was a port. So let's sell our 16 tons there. Here we want to go and buy computers again. Can we get 2 tons of computers this time? Because if we can, that means that we actually start making some money. But I can't afford the machinery. But that's good because computers are quite profitable, right? We'll get there. Okay, let's get some fuel. I'll do a quick save. No, not quick save as. Keep pressing the wrong menu button. Quick save, there we go. And onwards we go. Onwards we go. Right, in there. We need to go back to DSO. So you can see the game is very grindy, right? This is top quality 80s gameplay. But I've just got to ferry some stuff back and forward between the games, right? In order to get... Now, DSO is the slightly more dangerous part of the run because it's not quite as safe, but that's where we met the ASP last time. So let's see what happens this time. Again, the Spectrum is very good at doing circles. As you can see, the hyperspace tunnel there is, for an 8-bit computer, actually quite good, actually. I don't think you can complain too much about that. It's better than the BBC one. The BBC one did a sort of concertina thing. The Amstrad version had coloured planets, but it constantly played the Blue Danube, which got irritating. I think the C64 had the Death Star and basketball lines on the planets. Okay. So you can see the game is, I mean, this was state of the art. I remember playing this as a kid, thinking this was amazing, right? Okay, but by modern standards, it is quite grindy, as you can tell. Which and I know a few of you have already mentioned this in chat. It's quite kind of dangerous as well, isn't it? You can see where that mindset of you've got to prove you're worthy, right? It's come from. I'm not getting into the politics of that. Docking in this is an acquired art. Now I've got muscle reflex memory for long association on this. But and I know the Spectrum version inside out, which is really, really good. It's not easy, this game. It was punishing, and this is quite dull actually, really, for a game. Okay, so we're like 50 minutes in, and we've haven't got enough money to buy anything yet. So it's not and I'm not hanging around. I'm having to play the game. I'm going as fast as the game lets me, right? Okay, so it's quite an uphill climb to get anywhere in Elite, and you can see why gamers who were used to Pac-Man style, Space Invaders style, play through the game in 10 minutes were kind of this was weird. This was a new thing, right? To play a game this sort of way. It's not grindy, it's a game. Well, that's a good thing. But things do accelerate. Okay, so it's very slow to start until we get to a certain threshold of money, and then we'll be able to do things. Fantastic Book Gaming. Hello, good to see you, Mr. Dan Grubb, or whoever it is at the other end of Fantastic Books Gaming. Lovely to see you. Thank you very much for popping along. We're doing some classic Elite, as you can see, waiting to get into the space station. And having a look around. Now there are some other bits and pieces on these early 8-bits. They did have missions, okay? They did have missions. So in the when you got to a certain level of kills and a few other conditions, like depending on which galaxy you're in, and we'll talk about the galaxies in a bit, because we're nowhere near those in terms of the game yet right now. I'm just going to slow down. Look at that space station wandering past. I do like being able to look out the side of the ship. I think that's a pretty advanced feature for this sort of time of computering. Someone's having a barbecue. I've just got my window open, and I've just had a whiff of steak. That's not fair. Ah, dear. Right, that's not very well lined up. I do remember last year at ECM, I showed this to Sally, who was at Frontier at the time. And she had never seen any of the 8-bit versions, I don't think. Look at that. Instinct. I've lined that up pretty well. And so I did get her to try and dock, and she failed miserably, which was excellent fun to watch. So I'll dig that video out at some point. But it's hard, right? Unless you know what you're doing. Docking on this version of the game is tricky. Yes, hasn't failed yet. So there are some missions in these games. We'll talk about that. I'm going to get back out into space. Right, so we're now at 217 credits. Okay, we're getting there. Now, back at these, so I want to buy all the food, and I want to buy all the textiles. Oh, well, I haven't got enough cargo space for that, right? That's now full. Let's buy the fuel. Let's save our position. I know that's slightly not kosher, but there we go. Right, we are making some money. We're slowly getting there, right? We're slowly getting there. Yeah, someone's cooking steak. That's just that's not fair at all. Fortunately, I did have some lunch. We're good. We're good. Yeah, so you always save at the dock anyway, right? Okay. Back to Least we go. It's just be the safe part of the run. We need to grind. I'm going to try and avoid the word grind. Okay, we need to play the game for a bit in order to make some money. Okay, and into the space station we go, and there's an asteroid. I hope. Right, I'm just going to lock a missile on it. There's no way to identify ships in the game other than visually. right? That is a bit of a problem. That was an asteroid. There we go. Target loss just means that the missile I had targeted on there has gone. Has lost its target lock, which is, you know, makes sense because we just blew it up. I saw the space station there briefly. Sometimes it appears and disappears. Well, there it is. Look at that. I knew I was pointing right in the right direction. So I actually can see the space station before the scanners pick it up, and the big S appears in the bottom right of the screen. So missions, right? So in the original BBC version, correct me if I'm wrong, those of you who know better, I believe there were two missions, two special missions on the BBC version of the game. One of which was a stolen prototype ship called the Constrictor, right? And it was a spaceship that somebody had stolen. It was a new prototype ship, supremely powerful, was invulnerable to any form of laser except the military laser, and it was really, really tough. And the idea is that you had to find the ship, you had to chase it through the galaxy. You'd hear rumours of where it was, and eventually it would spawn in the right place, and you'd be able to attempt to kill it. But you needed a pretty tough ship to kill it. Okay, so it was a tough vessel, and then if you killed it, then you were rewarded by, you know, the Galcop government and blah, 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 and you got some money. I think, I don't know what the rewards were for mission. And I think the second mission on the Spectrum was a series of secret plans or something that you had to smuggle across space, and you were attacked en route because you were smuggling secret plans. So the BBC version had those two missions in it. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I've not seen them. And I'm only reading that from stuff I found out online. And the C64 version of Elite, because it was programmed by David Bell and Ian Braidman, effectively a port, had those same two missions. But they also added an extra mission, which was kind of not a mission, but it kind of was. The Trumbles, right? And the Trumbles were a creature, basically the same as the Tribbles on Star Trek, right? But they called them Trumbles to avoid getting sued. Whereby you know, you would be offered one and it would appear on your HUD, okay, as a little creature that would sit there. But if you had anything in your cargo hold, it would eat it, and then it would breed, and then you'd have 2, and then you'd have 4, and then you'd have 8, and they would float around your screen blocking the display, right? The C64 did have the Supernova mission. Okay, interesting. I didn't know that. It's Python Day again in Leasty. Had that Trumbull mission as well. It could do that because it had this sprite hardware, right? I kind of don't count the PC versions as the original generation Gangrel, because they're like kind of 16-bit machines, really. I know they're not quite, particularly the early ones, so I tend to think of the BBC, the Commodore 64, the Spectrum, and the Amstrad CPC as the original Elites. That may be unfair, but I don't think it was available on the Dragon 32 and the Auric 1. I don't think it ever came out on those platforms. So unless somebody else tells me otherwise. So those 4, I tend to regard those as the classic 8-bit Elites, if that makes sense. That Python get itself out of the way, and we'll accelerate to the space station. So those are the two. Right, I'm going to have to concentrate again. Sorry, I don't want to get this wrong, especially at this time of the game. So 2 missions on the BBC. It sounds like 4 then on the on the C64, and it was a homage, definitely a homage. We can get away with saying homage, can't we? Right, so selling that. Right, now we're beginning to make a bit of money. Okay, we're up to 275 credits, so we're going to buy computers again. Can we do 3 tons now? Yes, and we can buy 1 machinery or not? Yes, we can just buy enough to have 4 tons of cargo at least. Okay, we're getting there. Now I don't. Have we got enough money now to buy fuel? Yes, we have. So we've got 1 credit left. 1.1 credits. Right, so let's do that again. Quick save, and off we go. Right, we're beginning to make some money. We're slowly making some money. Right, back to Diesel we go. So yeah, so on the Spectrum version, it wasn't a port. It wasn't written by David Braben Bell. So they came up with some different different missions. So on the Spectrum version, you had the first mission I think you got was the Supernova mission, whereby basically you'd hyperspace into a system, I think, and you get a warning that the sun was about to go supernova, and you had to go to the space station immediately and rescue some people. All ships were being purloined to go and rescue citizens. And there we are. There's another one of those asteroids. Let's hope it's an asteroid. Yes, it was. Half a credit. Definitely worth destroying asteroids, right? There's another one. And of course, these are just randomly spawning, right? That's the way the game works. There we go. And into the system we go. Nothing else going on. Good. Nice and straightforward. There's the space station, and we'll fly in again and do the thing. Right, so yeah, so Supernova, you had to go and rescue some people before the sun exploded. That was a time-sensitive mission. I think you got some gemstones or something as a reward, and well done, Commander, kind of thing. Oh, you got the Supernova info when you docked. Was that how it worked? So long ago, I can't remember. I think you're right, actually, Winnie. That sounds like how the Spectrum version worked. And you either had to go somewhere or you had to hyperspace out. I've doubled my bank balance. I'm doing all right. And there's another ship. I don't know what that is. Flying over there. That's at quite long range. Let's have a look out there. I think that's a Python again. Pythons everywhere. We haven't seen much other than Pythons, really. No, that's a Viper. Look at that. There we go. That was a Viper. Which in this era of Elite is a police ship. Okay. So a Viper is a police vessel. He's just out there patrolling, doing his job, right? So yeah, so the Supernova Mission was one of the first ones. Then on the Spectrum version, you didn't have the Constrictor ship, but you did have an errant asp, and it was an asp that was hard to spot. Okay, it would keep disappearing, and you had to hunt this asp down. And it turned out that it had a cloaking device. Okay, so if you hunted it down and scooped up the cargo when you destroyed it, then you got yourself a cloaking device. Okay, and they were quite smart. They didn't put the cloaking device on the control guide, so you didn't know it was a possibility, right, when you played the game, which I thought was quite a nice move. Okay, so you found out about the cloaking device as part of the gameplay, and then you had a button on your screen that I can't remember what the key control is, but you could switch on the cloaking device, and none of the other ships would be able to see you, but it drained your energy banks really fast. Okay, it was really, really powerful, thing, but it effectively made you invisible, and it would break target locks of missiles. And the other ships would, the moment you switched on the cloaking device, they'd simply fly in straight lines because they couldn't see you. And so you could then sneak up behind them, switch your cloaking device off, sort of Star Trek Bird of Prey style, and then laser them into oblivion. So it was a great piece of fun gameplay. Totally OP, right? But it was good fun. I doubt we'll see that at some point. But what I might do, actually, this has been quite fun. Okay, so what I might do with this, I might keep saving this, right, to the point. Right view. Our space station's already behind. There we go. I might keep this, and maybe I'll do a retro continue and play through, right, because it's quite good fun. And see how far we get, and see if we can encounter some of the missions, right. I might do that as a retro stream. What do you think? Would you be up for watching a long-term ZX Spectrum playthrough? Let me know in the chats whether that's interesting, because I'm quite enjoying doing this. It's bringing back lots of good happy memories of the 80s, right? Maybe I need to find some 80s music to play along with. But yeah, I think a retro gaming stream alongside the Elite Dangerous one might be fun. We'll see how we go. Right, here we go, and we're in. Yes, people will definitely be down for that. Okay, well, fantastic, and we could try maybe some of the other versions of Elite as well. So yeah, got all this lockdown. We've got time, right? Now I'm still harmless. My rating is still harmless. I haven't killed enough things for that to be. Look at that. We're now at 353 credits. So we're getting there, right? Let's buy food. Let's buy that. We've got plenty of cash there still left, so not enough cargo space, so let's buy fuel. and save. And let us go back to least. Yeah, we're going to least, aren't we? Yes. It's there we go. Right, so hyperspace ho. First mission happens when you hit dangerous, so it'll take a while. Is it really that long? Okay, so I'm gonna. Well, I mean, once we get a decent ship, right, we can kit it out and go murdering. Maybe we should be mercenary pirates in this version of Elite. That's kind of what a lot of the gameplay was centered around. But we can try our hand at a bit of mining. There is mining in the original Elite. We can buy a mining laser and then go taking asteroids apart. So rather than just destroying them like we have been so far, we can fire at them. The mining laser causes them to break into 2 shards, which we can then scoop up. So you can see where some of the gameplay came from, right? This version has trading, it has space combat, it has mining, and it does have piracy. Okay, so all of those gameplay styles are there, and we can choose. Right now we're just trying to get some cash, right? But we can choose to adopt any of those personas or anything like that. So we'll do a bit. So but yeah, so we've been playing just over an hour now and we have about 300 credits 400 credits. But the biggest thing that slows you down is this docking sequence, right? Yeah, we do need the scoop, and we do need the docking computer. That's got to have carriers. Don't think they've arrived yet, sir. We may have to muddle through without them. No, it doesn't have carriers. So anyway, so I was talking about the mission. So the Supernova, then there's the Asp with the cloaking device. After that, there was, I think, a variation on the plans mission called Thargoid Plans, right? But at that, and it basically played out very soon, but I think it was to do with the Thargoids. And the last mission on the Spectrum, which I have not played, and I'd be quite keen to play it, is basically Thargoid Invasion, right? So I've heard, and I've not seen it. It'd be fun to see if we could get this to happen on the game. Is that at some point the Thargoids do invade a star system and take over a space station, and you have to fight your way into this. You hyperspace into the system as normal, but every ship is a Thargoid, apparently, a Thargoid warship. You have to fight your way to the planet and actually destroy a space station which is infested by Thargoids. So you have I don't know whether you get a new weapon to do that with, or whether you just have to attack the space station, and presumably it keeps spawning Thargoids at you. That's the sort of end game mission on the Spectrum, is the Thargoid invasion, and you have to destroy an infected space station, which sounds really cool, right? Now, but I've not seen it, but I understand that's the final mission on the Spectrum. So if anybody knows that, please let me know. But I found nothing online of anybody who's actually got a video of it happening on YouTube. So that might be a first for us if we can get that far. But we're not going to do that today, right? It's very unlikely we're going to trigger a mission today. There goes the space station. Pick it up on the rear view in a moment. So the rear view is a handy thing to have, right? Because it allows you to align your ship. There's always pythons flying around, as you can see. So those are the missions. So those were sort of little extras that were put in the game to kind of keep you playing, basically. Because otherwise it was just this sort of trade, shoot things, etc., etc., etc. Oh, there's another python. They like their pythons here. But at least they've got some AI, right? They don't just fly at you. As it gets too close, it will take evasive action and pull out of the way, which is good. I don't mind that. That doesn't look cool. I think we're okay. It's looking a little bit ropey this time. I think that's all right. Up a bit, maybe down a bit. Here we go. Yes. So there we go. Right. So sell. How are we doing? Right. 18.2. We quadrupled our money now. We have 409 credits. Right. So here we can actually start to buy now some half decent quantities of computer, and this is where it starts to accelerate, right? So we can buy probably 5 tons. Yep. I can't buy any machinery there. So I've got 5 tons of computers on board, which does actually start making us a reasonable profit when we get to the other end now. But it's a slow start, okay? So we, like I said, we've been playing an hour, and we're now beginning to make a little bit of money. But back to DSO we go, right? Back to DSO we go. How did respawn work? Right, now if I get shot to death here, basically, I think I'm right in saying I just go back to the start, right? I think that if I... can somebody correct me? I'm not sure, actually. Just thinking about it. I think it just resets to the beginning of the game. And you have to load a save game. I think that's what happens. If you haven't saved your game, you've got nothing. I think that's what happens. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. So that's why I'm saving my game along the way, because if I die, either because of crashing or getting shot down, then I've got nothing. So it's quite brutal, right? Later on in the game, you do have the option to buy an escape pod. Okay, which works in rather the same way as the rebuy does on the current Elite Dangerous. In which the basically your escape pod takes you to the nearest space station. And what's this ship over here on the right? Is that another Viper? Let's have a look as it goes past. I'm just going to slow down a little bit. This may be something else. There you go. That is a Fer-De-Lance. There you go. A Fer-De-Lance. Going past the window there. So we haven't seen one of those. This is the first time we've seen. So no, obviously a single player game, no combat logging. Notice I can't use the Taurus drive while there's another ship going past, right? Because it's mass locked, which is a bit irritating. Does the Specky have the 6502? No, it's not. It's a Z80A. It's a Z80A processor. Quite different from the 6502. I have great fondness for both of them. The first computer I ever used was a 6502 based machine. It wasn't the BBC actually, but it was a 6502 based machine. But then I tended to played. Ah, this is not good. This I think is a rock hermit. Yep, now I'm in trouble. Because this is a rock hermit. Now what will happen here? Oh, it could be a boa actually. I'm not sure what ship that is. It's definitely not an asteroid, so I'm going to see if I can outrun it, because it's not. If it's a boa, it's not very fast, and it's possibly going to chase me, but possibly not. So I'm going to try. Yeah, it's attacking me, but it can't keep up. So it's missing. So it does. The game does have the concept of the bad guys not being able to shoot accurately. That was a boa, I think. I thought it was going to be a rock hermit, but a rock hermit would launch 2 ships at me. So that was definitely a boa. So it's trying to keep in range, but it's not as fast as the Cobra, so it can't. And then I can outrun it. So I was a bad boy there. I opened fire on an innocent ship, but because I didn't destroy it, it doesn't muck up my my status, which I can't see actually. It's still trying to hit me. Oh, hang on, something else is coming in now. What's this? Is that the same ship? Oh, it's back. Oh, this isn't good. Okay. What I'm probably going to have to do is I'm going to have to fight it off, but not kill it. So I don't know how it managed to get back into range like that. That was interesting. I may have to sort of discourage it a bit. But if I don't destroy it, it's definitely flying around quite fast. I think that's a boa. This isn't good really, because I can't afford at this part of the game to be a pirate. And I'm not allowed to attack it in system space, which I'm right on the border of, so I'm going to make a run for the moon. If I can get into system space, it will stop attacking me. And we'll chalk that down to experience, right? Yeah, so space station in range. I don't want to be attacking it with a space station thing up, because then that's illegal, right? The police will come and get me. So I'm hoping it looks like it's veering off. So hopefully I won't get penalised for it. We'll find out what happens actually when I get into space station range. He's coming back. He is coming back. This is okay. He's not going to fire at me. He's firing on me. I suppose because I'm the aggressor, right? He's definitely coming back. This is faster than I expected. That boa is... He's coming right back on me. I'll have to see what happens when I get to the space station. Ah, dear. So we're now in... He's still firing on me. This is going to be interesting as to what happened. He's definitely not happy, is he? He's definitely not happy. I can't blame him. I've just made an unprovoked attack, basically, haven't I? Now, if Vipers launch from the space station, I am in serious problems because it basically means they've determined that I'm a criminal. If these are Vipers, that doesn't look good. There's 3 of them. Yeah, I'm in trouble. The only choice I've got now is to get the hell out of Dodge, jump somewhere else, and go back. So I'm going to try and run away bravely. And go away. So I'm sort of high waked out of trouble, right? But this isn't good. Okay. What this means is that I've now got the wrong cargo in the wrong system. I can't hyperspace back because I'm out of fuel. I haven't got the fuel scoop. And now I've got a red alert indicator, which means I am... Although my legal status there is clean, which is interesting. So it's coming like a local fine that will allow me to be... that will wear off. So you do have to be a little bit wary of... Here it is again. Do I take the chance? Is this an asteroid? It's rotating, so it should be alright. Yes, there we go. Yeah, I've done Listy a favour. Now where am I? I'm in Listy. I want to be in DSO, right? So pick a system and jump. That's the only thing to do. So I got out of there. But now we've got the cargo in the wrong system, so I've got to fuel up and go back to where I was and hope they forgive me this time. Which isn't good. Ah, dear. You see the danger of being a space pilot, Yuki. So you can get yourself... That's quite a nice gameplay feature, right, in this version. You can get yourself into trouble because you think you're doing one thing and you're not. So the problem being here that I thought that was an asteroid. It turned out to be a ship, which is probably not a mistake that you'd make in Elite Dangerous, right? But in this game, because they're so graphically similar, it's hard to tell the difference. But hey, what can you do, right? What can you do? So anyway, we've got to play the game. You know, we've got to play. Can you cut, thrust, and drift? Not really. No, your speed is tied to the control. If I throttle down to 0, the ship drifts slowly forwards. That's basically all you can do. There's no Newtonian style to this at all. It is completely airplanes in space in terms of the flight model. So there we are. That was bad of me, attacking an innocent ship, and I had to pay the price. Fortunately, they didn't kill me, right? But did you see all the Vipers launched from the space station? They take their policing very seriously, right? If you are aggressive... I fired when I was in the space station zone, okay? So that's bad, that's illegal, right? So I'm a bad boy for doing that. And the Vipers, quite rightly, really, the police Vipers came out to destroy me. That's justice in the Elite Dangerous in the Elite universe, right? You just destroy the enemy ship. You don't get a warning, they just come out and kill you, which is what they were attempting to do. Now, it'll be interesting when I go back there to see if they've forgiven me or not. By the way, if you try and dock with the space station in those conditions, if you fight your way past the Vipers, because they will eventually stop launching, right? If you're good enough to destroy all of them. But if you try and dock, what you'll find is that they've closed the door. It doesn't look any different, unfortunately. You can't see like a sliding thing go down, but the door is closed and you die because you crash on the outside of the space station. So that is a nuisance. So right view, there's the space station. Go. So turn around. Right, so we can dock here. We're not illegal here. We because we didn't kill the ship, our legal status is still clean, which is probably good news. We can get away with going back there in a moment, and all should be forgiven. The 8-bit game doesn't hold grudges for very long, right? which is good. Otherwise it'd be virtually impossible to progress, because you can't make enough money So basically, the way the 8-bit version games is anything that happens beyond sight of the space station is kind of okay. Good afternoon, John White. Good to see you, fella. So we need to buy fuel here. Then we need to go back to DSO and hope they've forgiven us. I should save, shouldn't I? There we go. There we go. And hopefully we can get back in. So I'm not fugitive yet, no. But I can't sell that cargo elsewhere at the moment because it's no good. So onwards we go. Onwards we go. Right, there's a ship. That is definitely not an asteroid. You can tell it's a friendly ship because it appears in front of you. If it appears off to one side, that is a Fer-De-Lance again, which will shoot past there. That's the Fer-De-Lance. In the Elite era, a Fer-De-Lance is a fighting ship, but it's also a very posh ship. It's sort of the Mercedes-Benz of the Elite world. The inside of which is supposed to be decked out like a palace, so it's like a really posh ship. It's kind of fighting wise, it's equivalent to a Cobra, a well-spec'd Cobra, should I say? But it's a sort of bounty yacht. That's right. Right. So now we have a pirate coming in. I have to deal with this. So this is all fun, right? All right. That's what we got this time. We have that looks like a Cobra, which is not good news because it's got quite a lot of weaponry on board. So I'm actually going to slow down. Yeah, that's definitely a Cobra. I've got to be a bit careful. Notice my energy bank. So there's a missile. Got him. That's possibly another missile. Yes, it is. Skills. Both missiles shot down. Because without an ECM, missiles are actually quite dangerous, right? They will take out your shields or your energy bank. Got him. That was easy. And that is a cargo canister, which I can't do anything with. I really need that fuel scoop, right? But there we go. That's good. And let's get to the space station. So I've got possibly an asteroid. Let's just see if it's rotating. Let's be a bit more careful this time. If it's rotating, it should be an asteroid. It is rotating. So it should be okay to shoot that. As long as it's probably the same guy from before. Just thinking, right, I got half a credit. There we go. We're good. Right, now we're in system space. Now, hopefully this time I will have been forgiven my previous discretions, right? We'll find out. The AI has improved over the years. Just switch my Dolphin and the space station adds. Switch right to the Beluga. Okay. NPCs in the original Elite seem tougher than some Elite commanders I fought in Fantasy World last night. I couldn't possibly comment. I'm not a great PvP player, I have to say, but there we go. The ones in the NPCs in the original are only really dangerous when they gang up on you. And in these safe systems, you only usually encounter one pirate at a time, which means that it's not too much of a threat at this part of the game. When you go to more dangerous places, you'll sometimes have 5 or 6 pirates on you at once. Unless you've got a tough ship, you're toast, right? Yeah, and Francis is quite correct. Those energy banks 1, 2, 3, 4 there. Once number 4 is out, you're effectively dead. That's when your ship blows up. Doesn't the automated docking computer tend to destroy a ship? Not in this version of Elite, because what happens, at least on the Spectrum, other people may be able to tell me the difference, but basically on the Spectrum version, all you did when you pressed the docking computer is you instantly were inside the space station. Okay, so you didn't have to. It didn't do clever stuff and line you up and flow you in. It just sort of teleported you inside the space station. I'm not sure if that's the same on the BBC and the C64. Tell me if that is true. I've not played those games long enough to get to the docking computer, right? So it looks like they've forgiven me. There's no Vipers launching. This is good. It's the same on the C64. Okay, so you literally just the docking computer becomes a teleport. So it's a massive time saver. That's the main reason for buying one, right? And C64 gave you the Blue Danube. I knew that the Blue Danube was introduced on the C64. So the C64 guided you in. Well, that's very cool because that's actually, code-wise, quite a hard thing to do, right? on the BBC it's basically an autopilot, or the Amiga. I don't know. In terms of the memories go a little bit vague, don't they, over time? So, did I really see that? Because I thought I had memories of the sun here on the Spectrum version having flickery edges, but it doesn't. And I could have sworn it had flickery edges, but it doesn't. So obviously, I'm remembering something else there. Right, so we're back in the good books in DSO, so we're good. So let's get docking. And in we go. Slow down a little bit. And I like to wait for the screen to be horizontal. There we go. In we go. Yes. I can't remember. Yeah, it might have been. Maybe it was CRT lag. It could have been, couldn't it? Some of those effects. It's funny when the combination of the computer and the screen display actually gives you some of the artifacts that people remember. Now I'm still harmless. I thought I might have, with those kills, actually got. Now we've got 500 credits. We are getting there slowly. Okay, so let's just make some more food. Now what we're aiming for, bear in mind, is to be able to buy things like there we can see them, the fuel scoop, 525 credits, okay, and beam lasers and ECMs and stuff. Large cargo bay is a really good thing to have, particularly as you've got some money, right? Because you can carry more cargo. But now we've got to basically just go back to least. Oh, save the game, Drew. Save the game. Quick save. There we go. And keep on trading, right? So get back to Leasty, through hyperspace, and there we go. Sort of reverse sound effect there. There's another asteroid. We hope. Got to check it's rotating. Yeah, it's rotating. Let's get that right. Yeah. I'm usually pretty good at identifying the ships at range. I can still remember the patterns, right? But not always, as you saw previously. So right, so here we go. Right, get in there, and we can buy some more cargo. So again, view on the system map. So there are. Notice this says Galactic Chart 1, right? Galactic Chart 1. So Galactic Chart 1 is where we start the game. We'd start in the bottom left corner, and it's about 80-90 light years across. Ships in the Elite era can only jump 7 light years at a time. That's your maximum jump range, okay? So in order to go somewhere, you have to do multiple jumps. And your ship can carry only enough fuel to do 7 light year jumps at one point in time. But there are other galactic charts. Now, they were, patches of the galaxy, different galaxies, depends on where you read it. The idea is that these are the chunks of the galaxy that you can navigate to. And in order to get to galactic chart number 2, you had to purchase something called a galactic hyperspace, which was like a one-shot overcharge of your hyperdrive system, which would take you to a completely new galactic chart. So we spend most of our time tooling around the galactic chart 1 while we're building up our ship, and galactic chart 2 becomes a bit more exciting. So that's what the galactic hyperspace jump is all about. Nothing like that exists in Elite Dangerous, really. There we go. And we're still trading, right? So an hour and a half in, I haven't been able to buy an upgrade for my ship yet. I'm hoping on this playthrough, and I'll probably have to call it quits at about 3, to buy something after all this work. Because we haven't even though I've been shooting a few things, we killed how many ships have we killed? We killed the Cobra, an Asp, and a few rocks, right? So I haven't even got off harmless yet. So it isn't a fast game, as you can see. It took you some time to get anywhere. There we go. We'll play that like that. Then we can shoot past the space station. I bought a missile. You're quite right. I did accidentally buy a missile, didn't I? So I've got all 4 missiles on my. That was a waste of time, actually. I shouldn't really have done that. But I can't sell it once I bought it. Okay. If you buy a munition, you can't sell it in Elite. That's not an option. You can only buy equipment. You can't sell it. So once your ship is equipped, the only way to downgrade it is to buy a cheaper version, I think. That might not be right, actually. We'll investigate that later on. goes to the space station, and it should appear on the rear view. So we slow down. So the rear view is really handy for lining up. So you basically kind of look at it until it looks about right on the rear view, switch your engines to 0, and then throttle back up and fly back the other way, and it works quite nicely. And then you sort of just adjust your heading a bit. That looks pretty good. And then we will line up. Oh, Python attack. At least the AI gets them out of the way. Yeah, that's now I've got to be a bit careful. I hope we're not going to get another one come out while I'm trying to go in. Ah, that wasn't very good. So we got away with it. Easiest downgrade, blow up. Yes, then you can start with a lower spec ship. Right, so let's sell our. We are making some money now. This is good. So now we're up to 600 kids. The key thing here is to be able to buy a full hold of computers. Right, it takes a while to build up. So what do we're at least do? So we buy computers here. Narcotics, of course, are quite good as well sometimes, but I could have bought some more there. Okay, let's just do that again. 3, no, 2, yes, 2.8 credits left. Well, I've got enough fuel, that's good. Let's do a quick save, get back into the game, and launch. Ooh, bit of a loading screen. Right, back to DSO. Hyperspace. So yeah, so the rear lasers are actually rear lasers are great in the original Elite, because what you could do on the Spectrum version, you actually had an option to reverse the controls as well, which was extremely useful when you were fighting rear, because of course when you're normally flying the rear view, the dive and climb effectively work backwards, right, because you're looking backwards, but you could get your Spectrum to reverse the keys, which meant that you could use the rear screen as a I think that one's rotating. Yeah, there we go. You could use the rear screen as a, you could fight with it, and or you could turn your joystick around. Yeah, that worked as well. And oh, there's a pirate coming in, and basically you could be running away from your opponent all the time, but you could still be blasting them, which was very cool. Right, this is what we got here. This is another ASP. Okay. Ah. Oh no! You're in the danger, right, of being shot at point blank range. How brutal is the game? I'm glad I saved it, right? So that was it. I got killed, missiled at point blank range. Even though, interesting enough, even though my front shields were dead, but even though I had all the energy banks, boom, that's it, right? Missile at point blank range. That asp was a killer. That was it. I thought we might be able to survive a single missile, but no. Boom. Quick load. Right, sorry about that. We just loaded from tape. Game over, man. Game over. It's brutal, right? You get it wrong. Ouch. There we go. With my 8 tons, so that's 8 tons of stuff, right? Dear oh dear. So yeah. So if I'd been playing, I did actually think about playing Iron Man for this, and if I'd been playing Iron Man, then that would have been it. Game over, right? So, and it's tough. Elite is not a very forgiving game. Well, there's the same pirate coming back to get me. If this isn't ASP, I should be taking it personally. I've got a pirate again. Right, you are just taking the mickey. And they're good shots, right? He's hitting me from... It is! It's that ASP again. NPC... Right, I'm going to have to be careful. I'm not going to shoot at him until he goes past, because he will only generally trigger his missile when his shield strength hits a certain level, right? That's the way the AI works. So he's not actually playing for tactical advantage. He responds to being shot at and a certain number. And the problem is I've got to be skillful here. There's the missile. I've actually got to attempt to shoot the missile, because if the missile gets me, got it. There you go. Only takes one laser hit to get it. Now the Asp is okay in that regard because it only has one missile. So I know I'm safe to blast him now. There he goes. Oop. Ow! I got rammed by a bit of his debris. See that? My shields went right down. Energy bank 3 draining, and there's another ship there. What's that? And another ship. I'm no fit state now to take take on any of these. I've got to let those shields recharge, right? Those don't seem to be hostile, which is good. So I'm going to fly away from here. Notice my front shield is completely gone. The aft shield is still up. So you could use those tactically in a fight, okay, to kind of give yourself a bit of breathing space, because you had a different front shield and a different rear shield, and it takes the energy banks a little while to recharge. But with the shields down, the energy banks are nowhere near as effective as the shields at repelling attack. So basically, a full front shield is worth about 2 energy banks, right, in terms of the amount of impact damage it can take. And it'll take a little while to recharge my front shield there. And I can't move at the moment. I'm at full throttle because there's another ship in the range. There we go. Right there, my front shield is now coming back up. So until that light goes green, I can't move. So yeah, so on the Spectrum, the explosions. Yeah, should have missiled him. Yeah, no, I should have had the missile locked. That was a mistake. I think the 2 other ships. You can see there's a ship still in range of me. There it goes. It's gone now. So that was a bit more exciting. Right, there's yet another. Let's hope it's an asteroid. Is it rotating? I don't think that one is, actually. No, that one's not rotating. Notice it's not rotating, right? That is a boa. And as we discovered, we don't want to muck about with those. Now, a boa is actually a ship that hasn't appeared in Elite Dangerous, right? So the boa is this guy here. Which one is it? Or maybe it could be an anaconda, actually. It's difficult. I think it might be an anaconda. Look at this. Tell me what you think. Where's my director camera? So there's the anaconda up there. Looks very asteroidy, and there's the boa there, right? I think actually, because it's quite a regular ship, it's actually an anaconda in the game. It's a big freighter in the original Elite. I think that may have been an anaconda. It was an anaconda or a boa, but maybe it was an anaconda. It was really quite fast, wasn't it? It was able to keep up with my Cobra at full speed, which is a little bit surprising. I'm just going to see, because in the manual, I'll see if I can find it. At the end of the manual, you've got a quite a natty source. This is what I love about old games, right? Is you have a manual and it tells you all about the ship types, right? It tells you all sorts of details about how fast they are, how big they are, what capabilities they have, and so forth. Now, if I look up the see, this is an interesting thing. The anaconda and the boa aren't actually in here, so it only gives you some of the information you need. It doesn't tell you everything. There's the Asp, for example, Asp Mark II, as it was called then. So it's tricky. It does talk about the Thargoids. There's the Thargoid invasion ships. So yeah, there is some information in there, but it's not all of it. It's not all of it. Yeah. So apologies for the bleed through of the screen. That's because I've got a green screen behind me. Right. So we're in system space. There we go. Right. How are we doing for time? Right. I've got about 20 minutes left. Can we get far enough to buy some? Well, we bought a missile, right? And we've been killed once, so there we go. There's a bit of entertainment for you. There we go. Let's get that about there. That will help us fly in. Running away and weaving, did that a lot, yes. Are you playing on the keyboard or an actual stick? No, I am playing on the keyboard. I'm playing on my normal PC wireless keyboard. That's what I'm playing with. So, not quite the authentic Spectrum experience. For those of you who weren't around at the beginning of the stream, I do have my Spectrum here though. I did try setting it up, and this does actually work. So again, a little bit of nostalgia for you. There's my original Spectrum, right? It is fully operational. You can see it's a bit battered. It's been used. But the problem is I haven't got the right TV for it yet. I need an old proper CRT TV for it. I haven't got one. I've got an old LCD which I can tune in, but when I tried to film it, it just looked ghastly. It wasn't broadcastable, I'm afraid. So hence the reason I'm playing on an emulator like this. Can you try and force a mist jump before you finish the stream? I will give that a whirl. Yes, because mist jumping was a big deal in the original Elite. Okay. So yeah, but I mean, the Spectrum is this is a 1983 vintage. So this isn't the Gen 1 Spectrum because it's got the slightly different coloured keys. I think the earlier ones, this one has the grey keys. I think the earlier ones had slightly bluer keys. So this is a sort of Gen 2 version. But this one was originally a 16K Spectrum. This one's been upgraded from 16K to 48K using the daughterboard upgrade. So actually this one did get sent off for an upgrade and came back. So it was originally a 16K Spectrum, came back as a 48K Spectrum. So that's oh, I don't want to crash into the planet. That's not a good thing either. Let's fly around. Oh, I was quite close to the space station actually. Let's go that way a little bit, and then we will turn around. There's the Python. Where's the space station? There it is. Right, and it's Python Central as ever here. Okay, onwards we go. Okay, that wasn't bad line up. See, the old instincts of how to line up with the space station are still there after all these years. I'm quite pleased with that actually. It was a bit of an art form, but you did get used to it, right? You did get used to it, and my muscle memory still remembers, I think, how to do this. There we go. So I don't know how many trips we've done. Now there probably are faster ways to start this, but this is just a nice one that I knew. Between Dezo and Leasty. So there we go, we're in again. Awesome. Issue 2's and later have the dark blue purple keys. There we go. So I knew Stephen Usher would know that. Well done, Stephen. So 8. Look, we're actually making some money now. Have we got time? We've got time for a few more runs. Excellent. So now the one thing you mustn't do, and it's the same in Elite Dangerous, right, is you mustn't, and we can now afford to buy a large cargo bay, right, but we don't have the money to fill it. Okay, so it's important not to splash your cash too early, because what you want to be able to do is haul a full complement of stuff, right? So don't spend your cash too quick. The moment you can afford to buy the thing isn't the point to buy one, right? You've got to have a bit. You've got to have the cash flow, otherwise you put yourself back a long way. So I'm not going to buy anything yet, other than the fuel to keep my ship running. You know, sort of fly. Well, where are we? I forgot where we are. We're in Deso, right? Deso is where we buy food, isn't it? Right, so there we go. Again, let's just keep buying food and textiles and head for Beastie. Quick save, of course. Quick save. Off we go. So yeah, so in Elite Dangerous you need the rebuy, right? But even then, it's, you know, don't spend all your money on ship upgrades before you've got enough cash to keep trading or whatever it is else you're doing, right? And so on and so forth. So right, here we are again. This one should be the milk run, right? There's another ship. And I think this is a Cobra Mark III, so we should be able to get a nice view of a Cobra going past. I'm pretty sure that is. Looks like a Cobra. Yeah, that's a Cobra Mark III. So I hacked the game to get enough credits to be able to buy a docking computer. You naughty man. Oh, I didn't quite see it there. There's a Cobra Mark III just going off left of centre there. We should be able to see it on the rear view in a moment. Although I think I got too close for it. It may have banked off. Yeah, it looked like it banked away slightly. There's the Cobra there. It's disappearing already. Hacking the save. I suppose I could hack the save game. That's not quite the spirit of the game, though, right? I got tired of dying when docking. So one of the things that we want to do is get a docking computer, but that's 1,500 credits, which is quite a lot of cash, right? So we need to have a good, clear probably 3,000 credits before we buy something like that. But it will be a massive time saver when we get there, that's for sure. So Stephen's Spectrum was a 16K originally, upgraded with a Fox Electronics 48K. I can't remember when I said, oh, Fer is not a bad suggestion there, Tuplex. I might try that in a mo as well, see if we can up the money, right? Because we do need to make some cash. Early days in Elite is all about making some cash, right? So I was hoping we might have got to mostly harmless by now, but I don't think we're there. That's just the inventory screen. So maybe we'll check when we're docked. Colza was only 5 years old, and then you had the basic and play games. Excellent. Issue 2 later had the dark blue purple. Yeah, so mine's definitely an issue 2 Spectrum. It's not the issue 1, which are the ones that are the most collectible, right? They're the ones that are worth having if you can spot them. They go for like 100, 200 quid. If you've got a boxed one in good condition, you can yeah, they're quite collectible now. Way more than they cost new, right? which is quite funny. If you happen to like old gear, I keep mine not really because I'm I haven't got the box for it anymore, alas, which is a bit of a shame actually. But it's this is just part of my childhood, and it's my friend. And it still works, right? Which I think, for a piece of electronics that was really, to be honest, not really engineered to last 40 years. I don't think anybody thought that anybody would still be using these computers, this long. The fact that it still works, I think it's quite a good testament to all that sort of stuff. And the Spectrum actually, in some ways, time has been kinder to the Spectrum than some of the other computers of this era, because it was ruthlessly optimized down to only really just a handful of chips. There's very little on the circuit board on this compared to some of the other computers of the era, and because it's got less components, right, less goes wrong. So it's quite common to find Spectrums that haven't been switched on for 20 years are fine, right? But some of the other computers had a lot more capacitors and a lot more resistors in them, and capacitors particularly don't like age, right? And so you have to go and recap, as they say, all the electronics in order to get the computers working. And sometimes getting hold of those capacitors isn't straightforward. And it's quite a lot. Whereas the Spectrum doesn't have many, so it's actually less prone to age than some of the other computers of its era. Which is quite a cool thing. Right, so there we go again, turn around. So, again, mentioning the G word, the grind word, this is... Elite was all about playing the game here just to earn some cash, right? So you could go off and do slightly more interesting things. That's what we're still doing at this stage of the game. So we're coming up on sort of 2 hours into the game, and we've got a reasonable amount of money now for an early start of the game, but we haven't made enough money to get us clear of having enough money and being able to buy some equipment, because you don't want to spend all your cash and then not leave you with something to be able to trade with, which is a danger. So let me line that up a little bit better. See the 8-bit calculations trying to draw a rectangle there. I think it might be 8, so I'm still harmless. I thought I would have got there by now. That's a little bit disappointing, but we are beginning to make some money. We're now 800 credits, right? So we've done all right there. Let's get some fuel again. We're in Leasty, so it's time to buy as much computers as we can. 12. Haven't got enough for 12. Have got enough for 11, so I can now buy 11 tons of computers. Zayford's off now. Thank you for the great screen. No, my pleasure. And stay tuned. I'll have a look at timing in terms of we can do a retro Elite playthrough stream or something, and maybe chuck some other Spectrum games in there for a bit as well, because there's lots of other good classics on the Spectrum. It's got some great games, not just Elite. And Elite is not a native Spectrum game, actually. Didn't originate on the Spectrum, and plenty of other games did. So we'll have a play with that, right? I will let you all know. But thank you very much for Zayford. I really appreciate your company. It's good to have you on there. Right, so Diso. Let's go back there. Now what I'm going to do is I'll make DSO the last stop of the day, and we'll see where we've got to, right? But I will keep the save game, okay? I will keep the save game. And we can proceed onwards from that in the future. But I will try and do a which space miss jump, if I can remember. Can anyone remember how to do it on the Spectrum? Is it pull up as you're going into hyperspace or something? I'm just trying to remember how to. I used to know all this stuff. I can't remember that. Oh, quick save. There we go. I can't remember. Is that right? Is that the way to do it? I think so. You pull up as you're going into, or dive as you pull up. Kelvin says depends on the version. So we'll try various different techniques. I'm pretty sure it was dive climb, as I recall. Right, so let's head into system space. All quiet so far. Nothing's going to happen to us on this run. Which is a bit of a shame. I want some more pirates so I can up my amazing combat rating from harmless to mostly harmless. I suppose what we could do is we could do a risque run into the lathe. Maybe we should do that to finish up, okay? Or maybe we should. I'll try the hyperspace jump. Maybe I'll just do that one risky jump into the lathe because that will definitely get us some pirates, right? If we can fight our way through in there. But I might keep the save from this version, this point. Pressing F whilst in pause. Right, pressing F whilst in pause mode and then using hyperspace launches you into which space according to the internet. Okay, for the speccy bit. Pressing F. So what's pause? I'm just going to try and find what's my keyboard overlay. What's pause? Pause is freeze, is caps lock. A capital shift. Okay, so all right. We'll try that. That could be interesting. We'll try a miss jump. So let me dock. Let me save. Yeah, space. Not sure for space bar. It should be. I think it might be left shift. Is that? Yeah. There we go. Left shift is pause. On the specky. On my keyboard. As you can see there is. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but it says there. It says freeze. Which I think is pause, right? That's 80s speak for pause. Is freeze. There is and there is no space bar on the spec. You may have noticed that, actually. Let me just do a close up of that for you. There is no space bar on the Specky. It is just that's that space on the Spectrum keyboard there. One of those things. They made the dimension of the machine deliberately smaller, so it didn't have a full length space bar. It had a space key on the right hand side. Design choice to stop you having to have a fifth layer of keyboard space, right? They were ruthlessly cut down in terms of cost of the Spectrums to keep them as near to £100, which was seen as a sort of major price point at the time. So yeah, lots of little things like that have caused the Spectrum to be the way it was. Right, that's looking good. Turn around, dodge the pythons, and we should be, there we are. We're quite a long way off actually. Just slow down. Ooh, got the wrong key button pressed. That never helps. Right, locking up. Okay, so let's save our game here. Then we'll try a miss jump, right? We'll try a miss jump. I thought it was dive and climb. That's what my memory is telling me, but it sounds like that's wrong. Press F while paused. ZX Spectrum originally sold for $125.99 and $175 for the 48K. There we go, Steve. And then it came down, didn't it? I think it was $99.99 for the 16K version, and then $150 or $125. It didn't take long for the price to come down. You said it still works, but does the keyboard still work? Yes, it does. Yeah, Francis, my Spectrum is fully operational. Fully operational. So 11 tons. So we've now made our first 1,000 credits after 2 hours of playing. There we go. Right, so let's do a quick save there. Let's go. Well, let's go outside. Let's see if we can do this mythical miss jump, right? We have made 1,000 credits. Let's see if we can do it right. So it says basically press pause. So I'm pausing the game. Press F. And it just makes a beeping noise. Okay, so I pressed F. Right, so let's hyperspace somewhere. Let's go to these. Oh, it still reckons it's paused. Oh, there we go. I wonder if I undid the F there. I'm not sure if I did or not. Let's find out. So we're going to hyperspace. Now, if it misjumps, we shouldn't come out in. Normally it tells you. Yep, well, it misjumped. There we go. We're in the Thargoid war zone. This is not good news. Oh, there's 3 of them. Now, with a pulse laser, we stand no chance at all. And there's a Thargon. Now, those little things also shoot at you. Let's see if I can kill a Thargoid. Come on, can I kill a Thargoid? Yes! I got 50 credits. Maybe I'm going to survive this. Would not expect to survive this with such a poorly equipped ship. Come on, come on. I've got to get this second one. It's launching Thargoids as well. Now, I've overheated my laser. But I've still got it in my sights. Come on, die, die. Down to my second energy unit. They'll be ganging up on me any moment now, and they will probably blast me to oblivion. This second Thargoid is taking a lot of hits. It's not. Yeah, I got it. I can't believe it. Where's the last one? Now, the Thargons you are best advised to ignore because A, they're quite hard to hit, and B, if you can kill the Thargoid mothership, wherever it is. Where is it? Come on, I've got to find it. I should actually start moving as well. Try and avoid being shot. Come on. I can't really. They're just shooting me to smithereens. Come on, where's that last Thargoid? Come on. Energy low. I'm in trouble. I can't get it on the screen. Where is it? There it. Is that it? No, that's the Thargon. Ah! I'm going to die. Where's the wretched... Part of the problem is you can't distinguish on the screen which one's which. Where's the Thargoid? That's what I need to know. Stop shooting me. There he is. There he is. There he is. Ah! It was close. Well, that was that. You go. That was a misjump, right? That was a misjump. Yeah, quite hard at that point in the game to be able to do anything with. What can you do? What can you do? 2 out of 3. That wasn't bad actually, given all I had was a pulse laser, right? I did all right. I think I did all right. Dear. Right, I will call it a day there, my friend. So, you know, if we go back to our quick save, or quick load. There we go. We made 1,000 credits. Okay, we haven't bought anything other than a weapon, but we will. Fuel scoops are a thing. We can't buy it here, but the docking computer is 1,500 credits, right? So we still haven't got enough even to buy that. There's plenty more to do. So I will look into the possibilities of doing a retro elite retro spectrum stream of some kind. We'll keep going with elite for a bit and see how far we can get. I'd like to trigger some of those missions, right? I think those would be fun. I noticed my camera's gone off. What's happened to my camera? Sorry about that. There we go. There's my camera. It's disappeared from this screen here. Never mind. Let me go back to the director camera. There we go. I've disappeared. So we'll try that. I'll see how we go. Hope you enjoy that, and do go and pop along to the rest of the virtual ECM stuff on their various Twitch streams and various other bits and pieces going on. There's stuff that's I've forgotten the missiles. Why did I forget the missiles? Oh, although I think they've got ECMs, right? So probably it wouldn't have worked. Do check out the rest of the VCM stuff. There's stuff going on throughout the day, stuff on the forums and in Facebook and Twitter. There's a whole bunch of good stuff, all elite themed stuff, right, and gamey stuff. So enjoy yourselves. Otherwise, you guys take absolute care of yourself. You know, keep washing your hands, keep staying safe, keep staying at home where you can, and take care of yourselves. I will see you next week for more Elite Lore Tour. So if you're into the lore of Elite, then the Lore Tour is on Thursdays, and I'm doing other bits and streaming every so often. So Yeah, so take it easy. Hope you enjoyed the retro goodness of the ZX Spectrum days, and I will see you all soon. Take care, my commanders. Right on, and oh 07. I'll see you soon.